Hey, welcome back to class. Let's go ahead and bow in, chair up, bow, kuni. All right, and let's get started with our warm-up. So, jumping jacks. In today's class, it's gonna be pretty similar to the last class. All right, so we're going to be doing another day of working on our corrections. So make sure that you do have your worksheet. If you haven't done your worksheet already, if you haven't graded your test, go back to the 10th class where we did the test and we graded the test. That way you can know what it is that you need to work on. So make sure you go ahead and you do that. If you have not done that, go back and do that now. If you have, then go ahead and pull that sheet out because that's what we're going to be working on today. And punch and switch. And it comes right back to your face as you shoot it out. And sumo splits. Smooth it around a little bit. Really feel that stretch right here in your adductors. And let's drop down on one leg. Stretch his hamstrings a little bit. And to the other side. Let's raise that heel up and get this lunging hip stretch. And same thing, other side, lunging hip stretch. Feel that hip flexor right in here. Get that nice stretch. Try to keep your back knee pretty straight. Don't bend it currently. Lean back if you need to get a little bit more stretch with it. Drop in place a little bit. Shake your arms out. Hip openers. Closers. All right. Take a breath in and out. Breathe in and out. The first thing that we're going to do, same as last time, we're going to do stances. So I'm going to set a 3-minute timer now, and we're just going to go through our stances. Ready? Begin. Chair up. Make sure we're not penguin clapping. Fingers are together. Toes are together. Chest is up. Eyes are straight. Not looking down to the side or anywhere else. Junbei. Breathe in. Hands up. Open. Close them as you come down. Breathe out. Chair up. Junbei. Chair up. Junbei. Now let's go into our fighting stance. All right, we're gonna have this kind of a dynamic stance. We're moving around. Our hands are nice and relaxed, but they're up, right? They're near my face. You notice how they're not still and glued, right? They're allowed to move. I just want them to stay up, right? So they don't have to be glued in place with my upper body where everything's tense. Let them move around, let them stay free, just keep them up. That way they can do whatever they need to do when the time is ready. Keep them up there, all right? Your weight distributed 50-50, right? We're not completely squared off. We're not completely bladed off. We're kind of in between. And go to your sparring stance now. So now we're completely bladed off. Our hands are typically a little bit lower. Our lead hand is out a little bit more. Back hand is in here, protecting our chest, or our head on this side. This hand protects the head on this side. All right, we're kind of bouncing. Again, bladed off, so from the front, you can see that one of my feet is hiding behind my other one. And do the same thing on the other side. All right, move around a little bit, bouncing a little bit. Don't stay completely still and static. These are dynamic movement stances. Right here, hands are up, relatively up, not as high as they are in our fighting stance. Trip, Jumbe. Sparring stance. Back to Jumbe. Fighting stance. Hands are up higher, around the face now. All right. Sparring stance. Feet are a little bit longer here. All right. A little bit further apart as we're bouncing. Hands are still relatively up, they're kind of floating. A lot of people will do this, especially Taekwondo, kind of dropping that lead arm. You can do it. Right? It's a little bit better if it's up. You have a little bit more opportunity to block. It's an easier block to the head. Your hand's here, versus if your hand's all the way down here. But you know what? Teach their own. Some people like that more. Chariot. Jumbe. All right, that's time. So hopefully you worked on the things that you need to work on your stances. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go and do our footwork. So footwork for this one is switching. So sparring stance, not our fighting stance, right? And we kind of have two different switches. If you're in your fighting stance, you can do more of a scissor switch, where the chest doesn't really switch. We do that for our switch kicks. But in our Taekwondo stance, and this is the one that we're gonna be focusing on for the introductory level, we've got a full switch, right? So chest has to face the other direction completely. All right, on this one, we're gonna do it for 2 minutes. Ready? Begin. So I want you to just kind of bounce around in your sparring stance, make sure you're in a good sparring stance, and then switch, right? You don't have to switch super fast, but make sure that you're identifying what you might have done wrong, right? A common thing that people do in the switching is they don't switch the chest all the way, right? They'll kind of leave it towards the front. Or, I see this one quite a bit, where a foot steps up and it comes back. Or even they kind of do something like this, right? Where the weight goes forward, the feet kind of come together, and then one comes back, right? I want both feet moving at the same time. As one comes forward, the other one comes back. Feet stay nice and close to the ground, gliding across the ground. Look at this. Bouncing around. Try not to overturn so that your toes face towards the inside completely. They might face a little bit towards the inside, but ideally they're more towards that front, right there. If it has a little bit of an angle like that, that's okay. Just not here where we're all the way. Only time that's okay is if you decide you want to switch and then throw some sort of a spinning kick, right? That's fine, because then we're already setting up for the spinning kick. But if you're not planning on throwing a spinning kick, then I want your toes to go back towards that front. Bouncing, bouncing. Right. You should be feeling your calves, because you should be constantly bouncing, moving. We're not coming up off the ground with a bounce. Over here. Right. Keep bouncing. Make those calves feel it for the next 10 seconds. Take a breath in, and out. Okay, the next thing that we're gonna do is gonna be our hand techniques. So we're gonna start off with a jab. I'm gonna do my left hand first. We're gonna do both sides for 1 minute and 30 seconds. Ready? Begin. Jab. All right, make sure we don't raise that elbow up first, and then hammer fist out. Make sure that we're using more than just an arm, right? Turn the body a little bit. On the jab, we don't overly turn big. Sometimes you can if you really wanna reach. We don't usually have a massive turn in the foot here, but our hips still pop into it, and we still pull our back shoulder back to push that front shoulder forward. Right here. Don't Lean forward to where your shoulders are in line with your toes or in front of them even. Right? Twist. We get our reach by twisting, not by leaning. Okay? Twist. Pop it out and bring it back quick. Make sure it comes back to your face. Don't drop it back down to the hip or anywhere down here. Punch, bring it back to the face. Hands are nice and relaxed up until that moment of contact. It tenses up and then immediately relaxes again. Where's your other hand at? Is it protecting your head? Right? It should be up here protecting your face. For me, I even like to raise it up slightly higher. As I throw one out, the other hand raises up. What stance are you in? You're in a fighting stance or you're in a sparring stance? Right? You can do this one from a sparring stance, but I want you practicing more from this fighting stance here. Is that shoulder protecting your jaw as you throw this punch? Or are you having your chin up and high? All right, find out what your mistakes are. Other side, ready? Begin. Are you breathing each time? Bring it back to your face. Don't raise the elbow up. No hammer fists. Hammer fists are great, but not if it's supposed to be a jab. Stay nice, loosen your feet. Don't get too planted, right? We don't want too deep. We want to be able to move around and be able to pop those out, right? Whether we're moving backwards or moving forwards. Should be able to pop that jab out, moving back or forward. Where's your hands at? Down here or up here? Push that shoulder forward as you throw that jab. Snap it out there. A few more. Exhale in each one. Time. Breathe in. Up next, we've got our cross. So, 1.5 minutes. Begin. Rear hand punch. Extend out and bring it back. Make sure your back foot presses off the ground. And remember, there's a difference between pressing off the ground with a punch and just twisting and raising. All right. If my foot comes off the ground, not pressing off the ground, I'm just twisting it, right? Press off the ground. Feel that extension, especially in your glutes and your quads. Boom. As you push that hip forward for that cross. Shoulder up, protecting the face. Bring it back. Other hand, also protecting the face. Bring it back. Twist the hips. The knot in your belt should point about 45 degrees. If you're punching with your right hand, off to the left. That's how you know you turn that hip with it. Is your hand coming back down? Or is it coming right back to your face? Or are you nice and relaxed with only tension at the last second? Or are you tense for that whole punch, right? Relax, throw it out there, bring it right back. And time. Breathe in and out. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna switch sides. Ready, begin. Right? Hand comes right back to the face. Press off. Throw that hip, extend that leg. Other hand, up protecting your face. Turn your shoulders to help get that reach. Don't lean forward for it. around some. Right, we're not constantly being still and static. We wanna move, move. Nice and light on our feet. Sometimes I get in this habit where I get really deep and I get these really hard punches, but I'm not mobile, right? And chances are, most of the time, my opponent just kind of moves back out of the way, and those hard punches don't really mean anything because I can't move forward if I'm too deep in this stance. Looks great if I'm doing pad work, right? Somebody's holding mitts for me. Looks amazing. Sparring, not so much. Right? Gotta be lighter. Gotta be able to enter in and exit out, move it around. So the hands up. Time. Breathe in and out. In and out. All right. So next thing we're gonna do blocks. So for blocks, we're gonna do it 2 minutes, but we're gonna be alternating hands each time. Ready? Begin. If you can, I would like to see some hips going in there. Like I mentioned last time though, I'm not gonna hold this against you, right? Yeah. We're still working on earning that white belt, so everything's not quite there yet. It's not that big of a problem, but if we can start working on it already, then we'll just be ahead. Make sure that palm starts towards your face. It's one of the big mistakes a lot of people make. Another one, they go too far out here. Right? It's not gonna work. It's not blocking. The kick's gonna come under here. And this is blocking a roundhouse kick coming up right to the ribs. Right? From here, it'll block it. If I'm here, it'll just come underneath and still make contact with me. Right? So I wanna close that gap, just make a hole here, but don't open the gap where a kick can come in. Relax, hands are loose. Tighten up at the last second. Start off everything nice and relaxed, and then tense. Relax, tense. And raising this heel, and then dropping it down as I turn my hips. Exhaling, tensing up my core every time. Hands are relaxed as I set up, hand all the way on top of my shoulder, not down here by the elbow, all the way up. And time. Breathe in and out. Next thing we've got is going to be our high block. So we're going to start with the palm up, rotate here. We can add some hips as well. Ready? Begin. Work on whatever mistakes you made last time. Where's your other hand at? Is your hand at the belt, right? Or at the hip bone? Where's the blocking hand at? Is it way over here? I hope not. Hopefully it's up here. Okay. This would actually be called an outside block. It's a block, just not a high block. So if I tell you to do a high block and you do this, that's wrong. High block is here. Have that twist at the last second. Palms up, hands are nice and relaxed. I raise it up. I can still see through my hands. Fingers are relaxed. And then as I press it out, I tighten everything up, right? Whole body tenses up for that split second and I relax. Your mistakes. Think about the mistakes that you made. Work on correcting them. And I'm throwing out a lot of things that could be your mistakes. Chances are you're not making all of them. Chances are you're only making one, maybe two. And that's what I want you to focus on. If it's the other hand, focus on the other hand. If it's the blocking hand position, focus on the blocking hand position. If you've got all of that right, try to get some hip movement in there. Try try to be relaxed and then tense up at that last second. And then immediately relax again. Few more. Time. Breathe in and out. All right, the next thing that we're gonna do is gonna be our leg techniques. We're gonna start with our front kick. We're gonna do each side for 1.5 minutes. Ready? Begin. Front kick. You can be in a fighting stance or sparring stance. Bring it up, kick it out, and back. Make sure you rechamber it. Make sure that your knee doesn't raise up higher than where it was at full extension, right? I don't want you to go here. I don't want this circular looking kick. Kick out, bring it back. Kick out and back. Right, I'm kicking with the ball of the foot. The official curriculum for this introductory level is kicking with the instep, but if you want to kick with the ball of the foot, it will not be held against you. Are you exhaling each time? Make sure we breathe. Are you leaning forward as you do this? Or are you pushing the hips forward, causing a slight lean backwards? And that's time. Let's go ahead and switch sides. Same thing. Begin. Breathe out every time. Where are your hands? Are your hands dropping down below your belt? They just kind of dangling down here? Or are they relatively up? Keep them floating up high. And that's what I want. I want you to keep them floating up here. You can move them, right? I'm not saying they have to be stiff. Just want them up. Are you pivoting the front foot 30 to 45 degrees offside? Or are you pushing it to the front? Right? Holds you back a little bit if you push it to the front. Rotate just a little bit with each one of those kicks. Are you pushing your hips forward, or are you leaving them back here? Right? Make sure you drive that hip forward. A lot of time you'll drive the hip forward so much that you can't actually bring it back. I don't want you to do that right now, but if you're actually trying to hit somebody, you're probably going to have it so far forward you can't bring it back, and that's okay. Right now I want you to bring it back because I want you to have that control. Take a breath in and out. Next thing we're gonna do is gonna be our half roundhouse kick. Ready? Begin. Are you rotating enough? Is your head, hip, and knee all in a line? How about your shin? Is it here or is it here? Are you able to counter rotate? What about your balance? Are you falling all over the place? Okay, let's work on these things. Are you breathing? Or are you holding your breath every time? Are you pointing your ankle? Or do you flex the ankle? Is this over 90 degrees? All right, that's only 90. I want to get over 90, ideally 180, and bring it back. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna switch sides. Same thing. Ready? Begin. Are you creating this big L shape here? No? Good. I don't want you to create that. I want it mostly in that line. Ideally with better balance than what I just did though. Working on whatever you found you're most efficient in. Now we're gonna move on to solo drill number 1, all right? So solo drill number 1, remember we're working on the transition between 2 kicks. So we're gonna do 2 minutes. This should repeat on both sides, so you don't have to worry about that. Ready? Begin. All right, I want that good half roundhouse, and then as soon as this front foot touches the ground, the weight shifts, and I go right into that next one. Set it down, turn, and now you're starting on the other side. 1, as soon as that weight shifts, boom, touches, it shifts. And so I'm working on making sure my half roundhouse kicks are consistent, doing them the same way individually, but I also want to make sure that I have this nice flow. And if I want, I could kind of pause up at the top of my half roundhouse, or I can just work on flowing immediately, 1 right into the next. If your half roundhouse kicks are still giving you trouble, feel free to take that time. If you feel pretty confident with your half roundhouse kicks, right, then just go 1, 2, right into the next. 3, 4. 1, 2, drop it down. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you feel like your technique's starting to diminish a little bit, slow it down, get back to that proper technique, and just work on smoothly transitioning as soon as that foot touches the ground. Are you breathing? Exhale. I know you're breathing, but don't hold your breath. Keep it going. And time. Breathe in, and out, catch your breath. The next thing we're gonna do is going to be solo drill number 2. 2 minutes. Ready? Begin. Low block, high block, high block, front kick, front kick. Make sure you have that consistent pace, right? Maybe I'm consistently fast. Maybe I'm a little bit slower. But the time in between each of my movements should be about the same. I don't want to be want that consistency. How are your techniques looking? Is your low block still looking good? Or are you doing this now? You're rushing so fast that you're not doing a good block anymore. Make sure we're still doing good blocks and good kicks. Hands are up, but nice and relaxed when you're doing your kicks. Are you starting each technique with the same side? All right, so if I start with my right, my low blocks, and my high blocks start with my right, and my front kicks start with my right. Are you turning your hips? Right, like I said, I'm not gonna hold that against you too much, but if you don't have any other mistakes, might as well work on adding that hip movement. More. And time. Breathe in and out. In and out. Now the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna do our kicking requirement. So we're gonna do this one 2 times. So pick a leg that you want to start in the back. I'm gonna set a timer for 32 seconds. Mark, get set, and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, little fast. 1, 2, try to beat my pace if you can. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 3, 2, 1, 9. All right. Did you beat it? Hopefully. Were your kicks looking nice, or were they kind of garbage? Look good? All right, that's what I want to hear. Okay, so now I'm going to start with my other side. Right? So last time I started with my right foot first. I'm going to start with my left first. Pick whatever side and get ready. On your mark, get set, go. 1, 2. I'm trying to end it so that I end as soon as the timer ends. 4, 5, 6, 7, so if you stay ahead of me, no problem. 9, 10, upper side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, time. All right, so as long as you're staying ahead of me, should have made it no problem. Hopefully you did. Hopefully you noticed that, you know, your kicks were good and you didn't realize or think, hey, I'm kind of losing my balance and I'm leaning a little too heavy on this side. Or why is my kick looking like this? All right, we want to make sure we have those nice consistent kicks as when we did them individually, whenever we do them in combinations or multiples like we just did. So now let's go ahead, take a few deep breaths. Let's cool down a little bit. Like I said, today was just another corrections day. We didn't learn anything new. Ideally, you just spent this time practicing whatever it was that you noticed the most mistakes on. Now, if you want to keep training and keep working on those, by all means, go for it. Right? You should continuously be working on the foundations. Right? Taekwondo and really all martial arts, the basics are what really matter, and all the fancy stuff is just advanced basics, okay? So you need to have the basics down. Don't get into the next level and be like, oh, I don't need to practice that stuff anymore. I've done it for 12 classes. No, you need to continuously practice. I've been doing it for almost 18 years now, and I still restart and go back into the basics. That's why I love doing these videos, because for me, it's training, right? Yes, I'm making videos for you guys, but I'm also training, right? I'm going and I'm restarting my training from white belt and going all the way through. And I love doing that. And as a 4th degree black belt, the fact that I'm still going through and practicing the basics, improving on my basics, right? My basics are still improving. Yours can too. So don't think that because you've seen this that you know every little detail and your body knows it perfectly, right? So just don't do that. I thought about that a little bit when I was just a first degree black belt. Let's go ahead and get a socket stretch in here. I thought about it. I was like, oh, I know all this. I'm a black belt now. I'm great. I can do all of the kicks, and I can do them better than everybody. Well, might not be true. Just because you're a black belt doesn't mean you have everything mastered. Other side, I'm a 4th degree black belt, and I know now that I don't have everything mastered. I know now that I need to practice more, especially on my left side. Sometimes it's pretty garbage, and I don't like it. I want it to be better. Okay? So there's always room for improvement. All right, let's go ahead and drop the knee down. Let's get this hip stretch in, kneeling hip stretch. Take a few deep breaths. Let's switch to the other side. Again, kneeling hip stretch. Go ahead and let's do splits. Toes pointed forward, about a 45-degree angle. Hold it, relax, try to relax. Take some deep breaths. Sit down without letting your legs collapse in. I want you to reach to the front. Try to get your chest close to the ground. Now with the hands out in front, I want you to walk to one side. Walk back to the center, and then walk to the other side. Back to the center. Now from here, with the arms extended out in front of you, I want you to rock your shoulders one way, and then the other way. Hold it a few seconds if you would like. Your fingers forward a little bit more. Pull yourself with it. Hold it. Come up. Bring your legs in. Feet together. Pull your feet in close to you. And butterfly. Left hand in front of the face, left foot plants onto the ground, right hand behind you, hip and right leg raise up, bring it back behind you, still having this hand up, protecting your face, and stand up. Kick your legs out. Modified hip twists. Cherry up. Bow. Couldn't you? Great job on that class, you guys. Hopefully you were able to really work the material that you realized that you were having trouble with, right? Keep working that, keep working that, keep working that. We're going to begin in the next class, moving on to the next level. Don't just forget about the foundation material. Keep working it. Hopefully you enjoyed this class. If you did, like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day.